My name is Chad. Business partners Clay. We opened Imperial Wine about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, because we both hated our real jobs and thought that we could bring the beautiful wine that is low intervention, natural wine to Sugarland. We were enjoying it at the time, and we were tired of driving into town, and we thought that it would be a fun job or fun business to run and introduce low intervention wine to you guys.
Yep. We love it. Well, I mean, how does social media fit in to your marketing strategy with Imperial?
So both of us we admittedly old and didn't know anything about social media other than flowing through it and seeing other stuff. And so it's been a very big learning curve for us to get involved with social media. Fortunately for us, we've had a couple good friends like yourself and helping us along the way with some of the social media paid advertisements, but also with us kind of just being a little more comfortable in putting ourselves out there, but we're still struggling with that. We could use some help in that regards.
That's my heart. I will say, and I love that we're drinking wine. When I first started, anytime I would come up, this is like before, I feel like it was before Instagram Reels even. Anytime I had to come do videos for any client, I would bring the little shooters because they would get so nervous. Yeah. And I'm the same way. I hate video content. Like, I love that you're doing this with me, and I love that we're drinking wine because the video content's like, it's hard to, it's very easy for me to tell other people what they should do and create the video and put the content out there, but for me to do it myself,
it's funny you say that because when you own your business, you have a lot of helpers who, you know what you should do. And you've been helpful, but is, hey Chad, this is what, and they're all stuff that we know we should do. Mm-hmm. It just becomes that next step of doing it, right? I do have a really good friend who is always just, oh my God, a trend or something, and to me, you'd see that trend pop up, and it's like, you can do this video too. You can kind of get on board with that music or whatever that was. And I think we only did like 1 or 2 of them, and then I know we kind of mentioned it in our talking earlier, was then we wouldn't see a huge return or a huge impact or likes from that, and then you're like, I spent 2 days putting together this what was it called, trend, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, because you put all this effort into it, like finally finding something, you're like, okay, I can actually do that one. Yeah. And then you put in all the effort, and then you edit it, and then it's like it only gets a few likes, and it's like, oh, I mean, a little bit of it is like a little bit of a hurt to the ego also, which is hard because it's like, okay, we're adults. People don't have to like our social media posts, but when you put that much effort into it, there is. And I think for most business owners also, there's, why am I wasting my time creating this Instagram reel or something when I have so much other things to do, and what is it really doing for me? Yeah. And so that's like what you said, how people are like, a lot of people are telling you, well, you should do this, but like marketing and social media is one little tiny aspect of being a business owner.
Right. And I don't know how, you might be able to, maybe you want to speak on it or not, but there's, we've gotten some calls on, wow, we're really seeing you out there more. Who's doing this for you? You're doing a great job. And it's just Clay, but he's posting more consistently. Mm-hmm. So does that drive, it's going to show up more. His sister called the other day and was like, whoever's running your stuff right now, I'm seeing it all. And she is, like I told him, she fortunately is our demographic in Sugarland. Mm-hmm. Middle age.
What are you trying to say?
And she's seeing it on Facebook. We were really focused on Instagram because I like Instagram and I find it more fun. I find it easier to navigate. I find it easier to throw little things up in the stories or quick little posts. But we've been missing the boat, I think, for a little while. And the events and stuff.
It's a lot of people, again, like our age, that are looking for Facebook events. And there's even like spring break right now, trying to find things to do with my kids. I'll just look at events that my friends are interested in on Facebook. So simply creating an event, even for every week for your wine tastings, I would do. Something that I've also done are recommended to clients that do regular events like y'all do here is that even if no one, like not that many people show up, record the video, record pictures, make it look really, really good, and get it out there. A lot of people feel like, oh, no one showed up. I don't want to do this again. Like, why? I don't even want to post pictures. I don't even want to talk about it. Or let's just cancel the next one. It's like it takes a while for things to pick up steam, and you want to create almost like that FOMO. So even though I think our first few karaoke nights were pretty small.
We were small. There was raining, and we were next door.
Yeah, but we kept. I mean, I posted it. You wouldn't have been able to tell. It looked like we were, in some big club with lights.
He loved it. He said he loves coming to the patio.
Yeah,
he loves it. And then the gentleman, Jacob Westfall, with the singing.
Oh, that was fun. That felt like our own little private.
It was our own little private, and he said it was one of his favorite shows he had played in so long because it was literally so intimate.
So even going back and posting the videos from that, adding that as feature content, that's something you could post about in the future, just showing the types of events you can have here. Maybe other musicians. Thank you. I'm going to edit a lot of this.
But I guess your point is that it doesn't always have to be current. Because that could just get posted when somebody says, "Oh my God, was that this weekend?" No, that was 2 months ago, but I loved it. That was a beautiful song.
Exactly.
And I wanted to share that with you guys.
Right. Or just like, that is the beauty of a Throwback Thursday. You can post whatever you want, and it's a throwback, and you can use that hashtag and come up with ideas for social media content.
Back to our friends telling us what we should do.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's just kind of, what we do here is we try to just showcase what you can't, like the patio or the wine, but we're trying to get better at, we had talked about already, trying to talk about a bottle of wine, and sort of what natural wine and low intervention wine is. And so I'm answering your question with what we should do better. But what we do for social media is always just kind of the upcoming events and some type of picture or something that we just enjoy about our shop.
Yeah.
We've got a beautiful space, and we take pictures, show that we're open and closed, and just kind of promote immediate events coming right up with it. That's all.
So, and I think that, something that we do when we manage for other people is creating like a main content calendar. So we'll look at the month ahead and be like, okay, we have these events and we're going to post about them on these days. So then on those other days, you could fill in like wine of the week, or talking about what this would pair well with. Like, what would you pick for spaghetti? Because we talked about it so much earlier. Now I want it for dinner. And what does low intervention wine even mean? Those are different things that you can maybe like have an education piece once a week, or do one of those throwback events.
So it feels like low intervention wine, right, is such a simple thing. It's grapes put in a bottle, the way it's grown, the way it's hand-picked, and the yeast on it. And so we've talked about that, and then we come up short in the fact that that's done. We've done the post about it. So how do you keep regurgitating that same information?
Well, that's evergreen content. So you have different followers today than you had 3 months ago. Yeah. So you should definitely repurpose that. What I always tell people when you're creating video content or any type of post, what are the questions you get? And that's what you want to answer. If one person comes in here and has that question, then other people are, exactly. Like, why is low intervention better than what I'm going to get at Kroger's? Why is this bottle more expensive than what I'm going to get at the grocery store? Like, these are all questions. And why is it worth it? Yeah. Sure. And so those are all different pieces. And again, well, not again, I don't even know if I said this, but if you're explaining why this bottle's, I don't know how much it is, $30, right? Because that's probably a question people are going to ask about the cost. But then you go into, well, it's also low intervention and what that is. And so you're kind of explaining it again.
Right.
And then if someone wants a little bit more detailed, you can go see our post we did, a few months ago on that.
Yeah, because we think, I feel that, and I think it's something that we feel like our followers don't want to see something again, or will say, oh, they repeated that or they've done it. But the short-term memory of us social media humans nowadays, it's not that way. We can laugh at the same meme
over and over and over again. Yeah. Well, also, like, the algorithm isn't going to allow it to get oversaturated unless you are spending a lot of money boosting it to the same amount of people, to like a small targeted audience. So let's say you do, I'm going to post a snippet from this video. A few people are going to see it. When I post it again, if I do the same snippet, next month, maybe some of the same people will see it, maybe some others. The only people who are going to see every single one of my posts every single time are like my mom, or like those people that really look for it, that are going to engage with it. No, like my mom will like my Facebook post whether she actually likes it or not. Every single one of my, so Facebook's like, oh man, Phyllis Porter really likes this stuff.
Push that person always sees it.
Yes, and that person wants to. They want to support you, so you don't have to worry about oversaturating their feed.
Right.
And then the other people that you're not gonna. It's very difficult. Now, the only time I would say don't do that is if you're like, come buy our wine, come buy our wine, come buy our wine, like over and over and over again, and it's super salesy. That's annoying. That's obnoxious. You wouldn't want to have a sales post every single day, but letting people know what natural wine is once a month, once every 2 to 3 months is totally fine. You can repurpose that same content. Like, don't cause more work for yourself if you don't have to. So I think that's a good tidbit of a should have, what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just call that series this series, what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And just tell you what you should do.
Right.
And wish you luck.
Conversation of what we're what we're doing and could use help with.
Yeah. Well, but I do want to get into like how, because really that's the struggle. Like I'll be honest, my social media for my business is not great. It lacks. Like, I focus on everyone else's.
Yeah.
So what are some tips, and we can talk about it.
We've always said that, I've joked because like everybody teaching woodshop are like, so you just build everything at the house? Are you so handy? I don't know. I've been teaching kids how to build a birdhouse. I don't have a damn birdhouse.
I don't even have a birdhouse.
The landscaper's yard looks like shit. He's tired of doing it. So, your social media.
Just don't say that you have like grocery store wine at your house. I think
that's true. Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Definitely don't. Super funny because everybody, close friends, will be out at a restaurant and I'll go through the wine list and they think I'm a snob, and it's quite the opposite, because there's definitely these high dollar wines that a snob would enjoy.
Yeah.
Mine is, I don't want that. I want this hippie wine that isn't snobbery.
Snobbery.
It's
kind of earthy. I want the earthy
the easy
wine.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I only go to restaurants that have natural wine on a list, and I can read it and go, yes, I'll take it.
So do you know, like, if someone wants natural wine and they're out at a restaurant and it doesn't specifically say, like, are there things you look for that you can
Well, I know so
find?
many of the winemakers and the brands, importers, but a restaurant won't show you importers. But a good, if you're at a place that has a really nice wine list, they'll know that this guy from France is making a natural wine, right? Because it's been done that way forever and ever. But yeah, for me, it's easy. And some of our customers that come in all the time or that love natural wine, they can find it too.
That might be a fun post also. It's like, when you go out, what do you look for?
That's true, yeah.
So,
and there's places in town that are notoriously doing this now. That's what they sell.
Yeah. And also, like, what questions to ask. Like, if you don't know, like, what would you ask at a restaurant if you're looking for something, all of that is good content ideas.
Okay. That's a pretty cool little rosado or rosé sort of.
What's a rosado?
Rosado would be just, first of all, Spain, and then that's what they would call their rosé, but they tend to have a little more skin contact, so they're a little more bold, like mouth feels a little bigger than thin. Like, you imagine it kind of fills your mouth.
Okay.
Versus a rosé, you're just kind of, this is tasty, kind of thin. Rosados would be a little bit.
Rosado.
Yeah.
Have you done marketing in any other? You were a teacher before. I guess have you done any type of marketing in any other of your jobs?
No, not. I mean, yeah, nothing that would have marketed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you like get? So you like started this business. It's so funny because I tell people I've done marketing for a long time,
Right.
but I had to learn how to run a business while running a business. You had to learn how to do marketing,
Right.
also while learning how to run a business.
I think if I had any, and I see some of my when I had my personal Instagram post, I did marketing for the coffee shops or myself, places I loved, or shoes things like that. So I feel like that's kind of what I just transferred to here when I first started was, if I like this, same way I buy wine. If I like this wine, then somebody else is going to like the wine. And so I did my social media posts based on what I like. I like this picture. I like this. And I've learned how to be better at that, right? But I did market that way for when I was going to coffee shops all around the nation and visiting places that I liked, right?
Well, I love that. That's actually what I tell people who are stuck and don't know where to get started on social media. They'll open a business or their own, and they'll want to sign up for all of the platforms. Like, I need a Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, and I'm like, whoa, that's. If you do that, it gets very overwhelming. But if you pick the one platform that you're already good at, like start there. So I love that you're like, okay, I'm just going to do Instagram, and now Clay's doing Facebook.
Yeah, we needed that Facebook push, but I'm glad we're out there more now. People are seeing things more.
But you're getting like your feet wet with the platform you're already good at and comfortable at, and so it's like you can kind of, figure things out, test things out there. And it's going to be easier to transfer that to other platforms. Although I don't think that y'all really need to go to other platforms. Like I think Facebook and Instagram are perfect for y'all.
Yeah, our decision on those were just that they could be a little more, correct me if I'm wrong, a little more localized.
Yeah.
Versus, doing something on Twitter, I don't know that is just out there in it.
Yeah, well, it also depends on like what you're wanting. Another thing is Google My Business. Your Google My Business page, you can actually post on there. So you can schedule posts out.
How to use Google? We use Google to our
right.
We get posts, we get people giving us reviews and stuff like that. But I don't use Google to do anything.
There's little really simple tools you can do, but again, get comfortable with Instagram and Facebook first before you add in anything else. But those testimonials, just screenshotting that and adding it to your Instagram stories, like little things like that, it's all content. It's all content,
What about stories on Instagram? How do you feel about this?
I love stories on Instagram, and I feel like even for my clients, I feel like we share other people's content usually as stories.
Okay.
If you can create your own, but they don't need to be as polished. You can do a lot of behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah. And so, there's a lot of people who just stare at stories, and you'll get a lot of engagement.
I pretty much just do stories when I pull it up, but then I also know that you have a limited amount of time. So those 12 stories was 15 minutes of my life. I didn't make it to the other stories. So I'm wondering how much Instagram stories get missed.
So they probably,
lots of people.
Yeah, if you want something to live on your page, I would say post it. Post it on your wall, and then you can share it to your stories. But if you want something, what's the goal? This is something I always ask. When you post anything, whether it's a story or a post on Facebook, an event, what's the goal? Is the goal just entertainment? Do whatever. Get that entertainment. If it's to get someone to come to an event, then how do I do that?
Post is better.
A post is way better. An event, sharing the post to the stories. Should I add a link in the story? Should I do a reel? So video content, also, I'm cutting back, but you were talking about how people watch the videos and you don't get a lot of engagement. Usually people will watch videos, but then once they're done, they'll move on without liking it. So it's not that people didn't like it. You'll see your views might be 10,000 views, but I got 2 likes.
Yeah.
We'll get you there.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the thing is you have to look at a post is more likely to get engagement, likes and comments, where a video is more likely to get views. So you have to take.
But it's always questioned 10,000 views. equals how many people actually walk in the store, right? Because at some point we've crossed over the 3-mile radius of somebody buying our wine, right? And that's, I think, where business owners like ourselves, maybe older business owners that are like, is it worth it? You know, is that content worth it? Yeah, it blew up over here, but what did it drive to the front door?
Right. I mean, so there's different ways of testing, like specific people calling, or if they're, you could do Waze ads and see how many people are actually like clicking. So there's those kinds of things, or like Google Maps, but organically, like someone saw you on your feed, short of asking them, But I always tell people organic social is kind of like, I mean, think about how much money people spend on billboards on the freeways, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, unless you're lawyers, the accident lawyers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like those I understand, like for sure. You definitely you get into a car wreck and you see that billboard. I think that's worth your dollar,
Yeah.
But anyone else, I'm like, organic social, it's like a digital billboard, but you're just where people already are. The only difference is I can weed out, like you can't weed out who's going to drive by and search and see your
pick all the geofencing.
Exactly, and so that kind of helps with the organic social. So, but you also, there's a certain part of marketing. A certain amount of your budget in marketing should go to brand awareness, and that's what organic social is. Not the paid side, but just the organic, the posting.
Right.
And
people
so
would say that's fun, or that looks cool, or I want to be there.
Yeah, you need to give people like the inside scoop. Okay, is there any advice you'd give to any other business owners starting out with social media? Like something maybe you wish you would have done differently in the beginning?
Oh, I mean, just don't be scared. I wish Clay and I would go back and just be like dancing on the tables or didn't give a shit. Like I really, really wish, and I hope we can get there. Like I want to turn that corner, but I feel we both are so outgoing and we're so reserved to throw it out there, and I want us to wave a magic wand and not be that. And so if I could go back in time, then we would definitely be just in it to win it on Facebook and Instagram, but just throwing it to the wall.
Yeah.
We did one post. Our very first post was a video of him putting our flag out for the very first time. And a friend of ours recorded it. You can go find it. It's freaking killer. It blew up. It got so many views. It was so fun. And he joked that he was a social media, star and all this. And then, nothing has compared,
Yeah.
And some of that has to do with the song, right? The way that it got pushed and the
Mhm.
way that it got shared, and maybe 15 of our friends who really pushed it at that point, and now our 15 friends are
You're like, hey buddies.
where are you guys?
Right.
What's happening right now? But yeah, that would be my advice. Just don't care. Have fun with it.
I always tell people, like, you're not going to know what works and what doesn't unless you put it out there. And I've put a lot of really crappy content out there. Like, even recently, I did, like, a yoga video, and I put on LinkedIn, and I don't even want to watch it anymore. It's terrible. It's horrible. But, again, you never know what works unless you try it. And so there's going to be some fails, but that's also how you get more comfortable with it. Are there any trends in the natural wine market that you're excited about? Coming up that you can think of 2024 in the future?
I would probably say that, because natural wine especially, that everything's got a season, right? And unless industrial, commercial wine coming out of Napa or anywhere, that they're producing huge amount of bottles, million bottles, those are available year round, right? Because they just pumping chemicals and food coloring and can change any grape to mask exactly what they want, right? But in the natural wine world, something like this bottle is gone. So this is the 21, I believe. Yeah. So we might see the 23s now starting to come out. So I get emails starting to pop in about new vintages and new producers back in the Texas market. So yeah, I've got some fun stuff that I've got to order, and that's the best part about it. Some wines are always there, but in natural wine, they're literally, you might walk in next week wanting the Lamita Mexican Cab, and it's gone. And it's not gone just from my store. It's gone because nobody has it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun. And, so yes, I'm excited for
So if you
this
like
summer.
a wine, buy a bunch from y'all because it may go out of sale, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the message.
Yeah, if there is something that you really want, if I can get it, I can order it and get it to you, you know. But on our end, because we don't buy a whole bunch,
Right.
we keep our buying low, and but for customers, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.